Please, anyone outside should come in. I have been round announcing it, and this is a very important part of this year's 4th International Coconut Festival, which is being sponsored by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority and the Tree Crops Development Authority, and supported by the Western Regional Coordinating Council and Solidaridad, as well as having partners like the CSIR, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Ladies and gentlemen, the focus of the next presentation is on utilizing coconut farming to rehabilitate lands affected by illegal mining, galamsey, and environmental degradation. Some of the discussion points will hover around the role of coconut in soil regeneration and land reclamation, best practices for integrating coconut farming with environmental recovery efforts, case studies on successful land reclamation projects using coconut agroforestry. The whole objective is to explore how coconut cultivation can serve as an effective strategy for restoring damaged ecosystems while creating sustainable livelihoods for affected communities. Could someone kindly tell the DJ to switch it off so that it discourages people from staying there? Apart from closing the door, if they can switch the music off so that it discourages people. Yeah. Thank you very much. My father always told me, Ibrahim, in life, whatever you fail to pay attention to, you pay with pain. And it has been true. If you are driving and you fail to pay attention, what happens? Accident, you pay with pain. If you're in a relationship and your partner is saying, I don't like it, stop what you're doing, and you don't stop it, you pay with pain, separation. So if you don't want to pay with pain, you pay attention. So let us all pay attention to the next presentation and the subsequent ones. This presentation, the topic is Reclaiming Lands Through Coconut Cultivation, a solution to galamsey impact. Galamsey is real. Very real. Yesterday, as I was flying from Monrovia to Ghana, I took some pictures over Dunkwao. I took the pictures. And when we were leaving Monrovia, I also took pictures of their river bodies. And the one from Dunkwao, believe you me, often is milky. It's serious. So let's pay attention to this. We have none other than the Deputy CEO of Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Foster Boateng, to present to us on reclaiming lands through coconut cultivation, a solution to galamsey impact. Ladies and gentlemen, with round of applause, let's welcome Dr. Foster Boateng, Deputy CEO of Tree Crop Development Authority. Doc, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this reminds me of a guy who used to clean the office of the Dean of English faculty. And anytime the guy enters the dean's office, he will sit in a swivel chair and be turning himself around. And then somebody entered the office and said, "Are you the dean of the English faculty?" I said, "Yes, I is." Yes, I is. Yeah, thank you. I have a very interesting topic to present this afternoon. And the topic is on reclaiming lands through coconut cultivation, a solution to galamsey impact. Interestingly, when I was given this topic, I sat down and said, hey, at this time of the day, to talk about galamsey. Very interesting. But I really want to let you know that we want to really understand why people are doing galamsey. Don't blame them. We also want to understand, because you see, why we are so concerned about galamsey. And I also will touch on why we pursue ecosystem restoration via coconut cultivation, best practices for integrating coconut farming with environmental recovery effects. I also touch on case studies across Africa and beyond. I'll touch on the integration with local economies and environmental policies. and also challenges and solutions, and then I'll conclude. So without much ado, first of all, let's look at why factors driving galamsey. Factors driving galamsey. Because I'm an agricultural economist and a policy person, I want us to do a little deep dive into political economy. Now, if you look at real GDP growth across the world, it has a correlation with pollution. In this regard, greenhouse gas emissions. There's a strong correlation. A lot of studies have shown to that there's a strong correlation. But you realize that in developed countries, whilst real GDP is increasing, we've seen a trend that pollution gradually is coming down. But in the case of emerging economies like Ghana, you realize that as real GDP, which is a measure of growth, is going up, then pollution begins to increase. And that's what is happening to us. Why? The reason why this is happening is that in emerging economies, we've realized that increasing real GDP, the growth is not distributed evenly across. So there's a huge income disparity. So if you look at the World Bank data, in 1998, we realized that Gini coefficient, which is a measure of inequality, has risen to 40.1% from 1991, which was about 35%. But World Bank will tell you that anytime Gini coefficient goes beyond 30, getting to 40, it means you have a widening income inequality. And anytime there's a widening income inequality, do you know what people will do? They'll fall on their natural assets because they have nothing to exchange in the market. With all great respect, that is why sometimes you find the ladies who are doing 7 minus 5. You understand? Those of you who are good in mathematics, you understand what I'm saying. The women who do, with all great respect, 7 minus 5 is because they have nothing to exchange in the market. Income inequality has widened, so they have to depend on their natural asset. That's the same thing for poor people. If you look at the economy of Ghana, between 1990 to 2019, we have seen a fast growth in terms of per capita income growth. But it is not distributed evenly. It is creating inequality. The growth is not showing inclusiveness. So once the growth is not showing inclusiveness, there are people who fall back on the natural asset. That is why they are doing galamsey. So if we want to do that, we have to provide them alternatives. Alternatives that they will be able to catch up with this disparity in incomes. Because there's growth, but the growth is concentrated in the urban, not in the rural. So the rural people have nothing to do than to look at the natural asset. And that's where they also will look for sustenance. So why are you blaming them? We can do something about it. We can do something about it. So let me show you. If you look at the right-hand side of my presentation, you see a curve. That shows how Ghana's emission or pollution is increasing. This is data from EPA that I analyzed. You can see that pollution is increasing over the years. From 1990 through 2018, it's increasing. That is the time where our per capita GDP is also rising. So, now who caused them? We need to make sure that this growth is evenly distributed. Why is galamsey a concern? Next. So now we're all seeing why people are doing galamsey. They need to fall back on the natural asset. Now, why is galamsey a concern? It's a concern because I want to show you why. Look at the figure on my right. You realize that it depicts the global pollution in terms of the global world, how the world is being polluted. Now, from O to B, it was a time when human evolution began in about 200,000 years, up to about 1750 AD, where we had the Industrial Revolution. At that time, pollution was quite minimal. Not many people on the planet. So we're not polluting. And so in economics, they will tell you that once marginal cost of produce, you can continue to produce. So you realize that we were polluting from zero to B because there weren't many people polluting. Marginal cost of polluting, it was zero at that time. But soon after the Industrial Revolution, sorry, thank you. Okay, thank you. Soon after the Industrial Revolution, what did we see? We realized that there's a population growth, we need to feed many people, there's industrialization, everybody is polluting. So that time, you realize that from B to C, marginal cost of pollution was not zero. So we're having effects on the economy, on the global climate. You realize that? So if we are still polluting, until if we go to C, that is by 2050, this climate or the environment that you see is a productive resource. It will collapse, and nobody will have anything to fall back on. That is why it's a concern for all of us to look at pollution. That's why Galamsey is a concern that we have to look at. That is why other forms of pollution is a concern. Because 2050, these resources that you see will be depleted. And we may not have access to it any longer. Now, I also took a data from EPA. And I want to tell you why we should pursue this using agriculture or coconut production. Now, if you look at the graph on my left, it shows the trend of emissions as a result of energy. So all of us are burning fuel on the road. And this is how pollution is going. It's rising. So we cannot address pollution from the energy side. But if you look at the other side, it is AFOLU, which is agriculture, forestry, and other land use. If you look at AFOLU's share of greenhouse gas emission is dropping. It means that we can address these emissions using agriculture. It means that if we really want to address these emissions, we can use agriculture, sustainable agriculture, to address our emissions. That is where I want to bring you home. That is why I think coconut offers that opportunity. So now, when we look at ecosystem restoration for coconut, the role of coconut in soil regeneration and land reclamation. In terms of nutrient enrichment, coconut palms contribute to soil health. We all know, by improving nutrients level, because of the leaves can serve as mulch. Example in Ghana, I looked at a project they did at Daboase area. In Ghana, the use of coconut husk as a mulch in degraded mining areas have shown to enhance soil fertility over time. So it means that we can use agriculture to reverse the trend. Agriculture, for that matter, tree crop, serve as a good carbon sink to address emissions. And coconut is one of such tree crops. Erosion control. You see the root system of coconut palms. They help to anchor the soil and reduce erosion caused by wind and water. So we believe that coconut offers a best opportunity. There's an example in Kenya where they were restoring their coastal lines using coconut plantations and have stabilized the sandy soils and reduced coastal erosion. So we can use coconut as a way to reduce erosion along the coastlines and some of the areas, the land areas that has been opened up for all this kind of weather impact as a result of illegal anthropogenic activities like Galamsey. Water retention. Coconut serve as a good water retention material. Coconut trees improve soil ability to retain moisture and crucial for rehabilitating dry and degraded lands. So for me, it serves as a good example. When you go to Madagascar, they have such a program, an integrated coconut farming has been used in arid regions, promoting better water management and reduce the certification. So we believe that examples exist. When you go to Madagascar, they have an example that we can also do to reverse the trend. Now, let's look at best practices for integrating coconut farming with environmental recovery effects. Now, we can use agroforestry systems. Similar one is happening in Côte d'Ivoire, where they are intercropping cocoa with coconut. They are intercropping coconut with cocoa. And now, in this approach, they do some also with banana crops with cocoa. And to improve the biodiversity and provide multiple income streams for farmers. So once farmers have other opportunities to regain economic strength, and when the rural folks have other alternatives to regain economic strength, they will leave the galamsey alone. Who told you that we didn't have those minerals in the soil even before 1990? People are not falling back on them. Why? Because income disparity has not widened. And so they were fine with their farming system, they are fine with their cocoa production, and they can get better income. They can spend the whole day on the galamsey side, and I don't think they'll get an ounce of gold. Let us offer a better opportunity for them to move them away from galamsey. We can also look at training and capacity building, educating local communities about sustainable coconut farming. Very, very important that we can use it to rehabilitate degraded lands. There's an example in Sierra Leone where degraded lands for mining, the NGOs are helping them to grow coconut, in this case, and training them as to how to use coconut to reclaim the degraded lands. We also need to build collaborative efforts in terms of partnership between local government, NGOs, private sector, that we can facilitate resource and knowledge sharing so that around coconut cultivation. Examples exist in Mozambique. Between local farmers and environmental NGOs, they have successfully implemented coconut farming as a means of reclaiming degraded lands. That is why under TCDA, one of the things we also want to do is we can produce these tree crops sustainably. How can we use these tree crops to reclaim degraded lands? That is why we believe strongly that tree crops can serve as a good carbon sink and address our issues around greenhouse gas emissions. The next thing is, let's look at case studies on successful land reclamation projects using coconut agroforestry. We have a model in Philippines, which we can learn from. This model, though not in Africa, but in Asia, has successfully implemented coconut farming as a means of rehabilitating lands impacted by mining, serving as a model. And that model is very good. Bringing youth together, providing them with planting materials, providing them with agronomic practices, and they were able to work and reclaim the soil, the land. This is what we can do. It's about time we build partnerships with different stakeholders within the economy. We also have an example, Ghana's community project. I mentioned that in Daboase. You remember Daboase, around Daboase, they look for degraded lands, and I studied that project. 10,000 seedlings of coconut were planted around that area. And that's also another way of reclaiming the degraded lands. We have examples to give in Tanzania, the coastal rehabilitation. In Tanzania, have adopted coconut farming to reclaim eroded beaches. These are examples we can learn from, and we can also scale in our country. The initiative led to improved fish population because as the seabed is being washed away, it also affects the fish stock. So they were able to reclaim the soil and increase their fish stock. Now, to get to this level, we need to build partnerships. And very, very important. Integration with local economies and environmental policies. We need to align with national goals as much as possible. If you look at policy support, a case in Kenya, they were advocating for policies that support sustainable coconut farming that can align with national strategies for environmental restoration and economic development. We are doing the same in Ghana, but I tell you, now I have a new sheriff in town, which is TCD. We are responsible to regulate and develop. We have seen many institutions are distributing planting materials, coconut, rubber, oil palm. But what we are saying is, we believe in partnership. But let us make sure that we are giving our farmers the right cultivars to plant. We don't want them to plant cultivars that we have to wait after 30 years and it will not bear fruit. So it's good that the country is doing something, but let us coordinate our efforts to avoid duplication and enhance efficiency. So in Kenya, they've made it a policy to integrate coconut farming into their environmental policies and recognizing its potential for both ecological restoration and economic benefits. We need to do so as a country. We also have to look at community-led initiatives, and that's what TCD is pushing, working with research institutions, because we believe that farmers also deserve materials that command genetic advantage. Because you and I want to change our mobile phones when there's a new version. And you think farmers don't deserve that? That is why we need to invest more in research and development so that they can turn out good quality planting materials for our farmers. That's the reason why Tree Crop Development Authority has 4 key focus strategic areas. First, we really want to support research and development. 2, we want to really strengthen value chain actors. We believe that when we build systems, we'll be able to broker these kind of benefits. It's about time we stop the ATM approach and build systems that will thrive and move us forward. And the third one is, how do you strengthen capacity of these institutions? The value chain associations, their governance structures. Because if they are well positioned, it's really going to enhance the work that TCD is doing in terms of regulation and developing these value chains. And finally, of course, if there's no sheriff in town, people will misbehave. So we need to regulate and license people to operate in this space. That is why we believe that the country needs to build partnership. We need to support community initiatives. As TCDA and an oncoming World Bank project, we are going to work with a number of partners, research institutions, the value chain associations, as well as communities, to see how we can use tree crop to address our pollution issues in mining areas. But having said that, there could be challenges if we promote coconut production. There are some challenges. Maybe farmers will be facing challenges of marketing. So as part of our program, we are looking at how we formalize FBOs to build their capacity, to give them strong bargaining power. When people come together, they have strong bargaining power so that they will have access to market. Example exists in Nigeria that we can look at and learn from the Nigeria case. Then we also have to look at sustainable practices, avoiding overexploitation of the existing forest stock. Because sometimes, because we want to plant, people like to plant and get into reserve forest areas. I think the reason how we could stop that is to give farmers cultivars that can enhance vertical expansion in production. I mean yields, increase yields, so that they don't put more land under cultivation. That's why we need to invest heavily in research. And then we also have to promote agroforestry practices, where the farmers can diversify their investment portfolio, because you can give them trees that can also be planted with other economic trees, and they can derive more benefits from it. In conclusion, I want to say that coconut cultivation offers a viable solution for restoring degraded lands. It enhances soil health, it boosts biodiversity, creates jobs opportunities. It aligns with local and national policies to deliver lasting environmental and economic benefits. This integrated approach empowers communities. We need an integrated approach. We need communities, we need local governments, we need central government for us and all the institutions that are involved in this ecosystem to ensure that we will strengthen communities to look out for alternative source of livelihood and economic gains rather than falling back on our natural assets. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Foster Boateng. I think he deserves another round of applause for such an insightful presentation on reclaiming lands through coconut cultivation, a solution to Galamsey impact. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Q&A, question and answers. I hope the microphones are ready. Ushers, let me see the microphone. And please raise your hand. You will be allowed to ask your question. You press the button on your microphone. It's not working. Okay, then we will have one of the ladies bring you the microphone. So raise your hand up, then I will allow you to ask your question, and then we will get the response. So we'll take about 2 or 3 questions, and then we have response, and then the next set will come through. So the lady on my left, please let us be quick, because there's another presentation coming up. There's a lady to my left, and then the gentleman from representing the Volta Regional Minister will be the next, and then we have the next. Okay. So, madam, very straight to the point. Technical team, the microphone.
Farmers to practice tonja system, which is under agroforestry. Now that we don't have any sector called agroforestry, students who pursue that, how are they going to be employed to enhance? Because if we don't use them, means we have to use the extension officers to do that. We don't have any sector for it. So what's the way forward? Thank you.
Thank you. What's the way forward? The next question comes from the Volta Regional Minister's representative. And can we have another mic for Dr. Foster, please? Boateng.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Can you give us examples of practically what is happening on the ground now and what gaps there are that you want to fill? Are you getting me? Because we are aware that there have been efforts at addressing degraded lands as a result of Galamsey. What has been the effort so far? What are the gaps that you have identified? Then we can we can think about solutions to help improve on it to see, because that serves as our foundation. We cannot run away from it. That is where we can only continue from. So if you can take us through that one so that we can have a clear understanding about what it is. Thank you very much.
There was a hand at the back before Nana, but okay, Nana.
Doc, very good presentation. How do we get access to the Galamsey lands? Because I know sometimes they are not just easily accessible. That's a big question.
Okay. So the next question will come from the man whose hand is at the back, and then we'll come to here. Yes. The mic is coming.
Hello.
So, Doc, do we take one extra after this? Okay.
So thanks very much. Yeah, you've mentioned the possibility of coconut cultivation to solve some of the environmental, the ecological issues we are facing. But my main concern is the Galamsey site. If we are reclaiming it with the coconut, what about the residual heavy metals that have been deposited within this site? Has coconut got has it not got that potential of assimilating some of these heavy metals into the system, which eventually might have some negative effect on our health?
Thank you very much. The last question for this round, please, here in front to the gentleman in glasses.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Neeg Bebi from the GB Foundation. You rightly pointed out the need to provide good cultivars for our farmers. What is being done in that area to build capacity to provide those cultivars? Because it's very important.
Thank you very much. So we've had the first round of questions, and we allow Dr. Foster Boateng to respond to them. Thank you.
Yeah, the first question from my sister. We've trained agroforestry experts, right? But we are not engaging them. Well, agroforestry for me is a farming system. It's a form of farming system. So if you train as an agroforestry person, you can work with Ministry of Food and Agriculture and provide the services. You can even transfer it as an extension officer. And I think even Ghana has a pluralistic extension system where they have both private and public extension. And most people are promoting public extension. So you can bring this expertise to bear in these areas. Don't wait for the government to engage you. For me, government cannot engage everybody. I mean, and even it's being applied, if you can go to the research institutions and work there as well. So there are a lot of avenues. And I remember when I was working with Accra, we trained a number of communities to provide extension support. And you see, we learned this thing from the health services. Remember those of us who were delivered by midwives at that time, you know? Not many hospitals delivered some of us. So they were training midwives who were providing services, local traditional health attendants, TBAs, to really provide services. And we can bring same to extension. And those times, how are they compensating them? Sometimes they will give them a goat, a sheep, or maybe a fowl or something to pay for their services. With this similar extension program in Brongahafo, and farmers were paying back with a bag of maize and that kind of thing. We can formalize the system, and we are trying to see how we bring such a system under the tree crop sector, and so that such people, expertise can be mobilized to support farmers. Okay. The second one is you want to see practically what has been done and efforts being done so far in the gaps. I think practically we've seen ministries like Lands and Forestry making effort to buy seedlings to reclaim lands. But the question is, it's not about reclaiming the land. You have to create economic venture out of it for the people. You see, the reason why they are doing Galamsey, as I told you, the income disparity is making them fall back on the natural assets that we have. So if you are going to give them cultivars, that will give good returns on the investment, not just planting. We've seen a lot of these materials, they give it to people to plant, but as to whether these materials, the researchers will tell you, whether they are good materials that are going to bear fruit in the next 5 to 10 years, that will really generate income for these people, that's also questionable. That is why I'm saying that there's a new sheriff in town, TCDA. We've been mandated to look at, in terms of the cultivars farmers are planting, we regulate. So we have a regulation, LI 2471. Through that, we are going to look at those who get into nursery. Are they going according to the rules of the game? What is the source of their planting material? Because government is buying materials for reclamation, everybody just plug anything from his bath, at the back of his bathhouse, and sell it to government. Otherwise, we'll create bushes and not create any economic venture out of it. So in the next 20 years, when we reclaim the soil, they'll come back again and mine. So for me, that is where the gap is, and we must fill. We must make a mindset to create economic venture out of it. Otherwise, we are joking. The next one is how do we go assess the Galamsey lands? That's a very big question for me, and this is above my pay grade. But it requires a policy direction. That's why when I was talking, I said there's a need for a concerted effort for us to work together. You see, we must be intentional as a country to say that, are we going to work with the traditional authorities? We see certain institutions, we have not used them. How are we, Nana, for instance, if your place, people are degrading the lands, let me use an example. I'm just saying it. If I come to you and I say, Nana, this is what we want to do. We want to reclaim the soil, the land. Let us plant these economic trees. Akunyanya 1/3. Then Kolenya 1/3. Exactly. No, I'm making an example. I'm not saying you are doing it. So for me, I think it requires an intentional effort for us to do it. And it requires a lot of institutions. Well, I'm sorry I can't give you a direct answer, but I will say that it's a policy issue that we have to be very intentional to deal with it. That's what I will say. Then the next one is about Galamsey, using coconut will sieve heavy metals. Sorry. I'm an economist and a policy person and an engineer. But let me refer you to the researchers to speak to that, because they are the people who can speak to that. So let me defer this question. After that, let the researchers speak to that.
So the director of CSIR, OPRI, you can please come so that you speak to it. Or the microphone.
So thank you very much for that question. So here you need a soil chemist or a plant nutritionist. And many technologies have been developed by CSIR Soil Research Institute. And a simple technology that could be employed is application of biochar. Biochar, where raw materials are burnt under absence of oxygen. So it's like in the form of a charcoal. You apply it around the coconut with the recommendation, and no heavy metal will be taken by the plant. It has been tried and tested, and it's excellent. Thank you very much.
So our scientists are not sleeping, we are working.
Sorry.
Ghana is working.
Thank you, Director. Yeah, somebody asked about good cultivars. What is being done? I think in my submission I said, and I think Dr. Danso has attested to the fact that we cannot do this thing without spending money in research and development. For me, research and development is what the country must pay attention to. Sometimes if you look at budget that goes into research and development, it's very funny. Some countries spend a lot of money in research and development. I remember when my kids were young, I would buy them toys and they would destroy it, and I get so frustrated and angry. I remember I had a son, he would destroy all my video cam deck. He would destroy everything. I was so angry. I didn't know the boy was learning. I didn't know he was learning. And he did so well in electronic engineering, and you can attest to that fact. Even at the age of, when he finished his first degree, 22 years, he got a scholarship to do direct PhD in the University of Atlanta, Georgia Tech. So we need to invest in research and development. I didn't know I was investing in research and development with my son.
He was destroying the things.
He was destroying everything. So that is what research is. They need to really research, destroy, check, and go back, and then they will come out with something better. So for us to get good cultivars, it has to come with science. Science. And science is not only the planting material. It talks about soil, integrated soil fertility. We have to look at it. We have overmined the soil. We need to put something back into the soil. Also, we need to look at mechanization. Wheels and gears must move in our agriculture. Otherwise, we'll be at a standstill. So, for me, the only way we can go is to spend more money in research. That's why in TCDA, I said one of the key strategic focus areas is research and development, where we are pumping resources to support research institutions. I think I've exhausted the questions.
We still have 5 minutes, so we'll take 1 or 2 more questions, burning questions, if there are. If there are none, then we will. Okay, there is 1 there, and 2, and that's it. Okay, you're a student, so I will allow you. So please give it to the student first, so that should the time not be on our side, then I'll sacrifice the elders for the youth.
Okay. So in case I'm in Volta region, and I want to cultivate this coconut.
Which school?
Winneba Secondary School.
Okay.
Which is the tree of life. And here is the case that Volta region, most of the lands are salty. So how can I go about this problem?
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's take the microphone.
I think Doc spoke at length on how to
Who is
reclaim
speaking
land.
now?
I'm speaking.
Okay, you got the mic, yeah.
He spoke at length
Yeah.
on how to reclaim land, giving Tanzania example and the Philippines example. That's laudable. But my problem is, what is the solution?
Director.
What would be the solution for small or medium or long term, so that these people will be kept at bay? I mean, these galamseyers and then these sun winners. I'm coming from a place where you acquire the land, you plant whatever you want to plant on it, but then the following day, you go and everything has been uprooted. Because those people, they have the authority coming from either the chief or the police. I'm not saying all police. The police, they pass there before going to the bush. So you give them that opportunity. A farmer has acquired the land, all right, but the next day, all his plant has been destroyed. Now, my question or my solution.
Yeah.
What are the authorities, those concerned, the power that be, doing about this state of affairs so that this case will be arrested? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can you pass the microphone backwards? Yeah.
Thank you. In your submission, you gave countless examples of...
Doc from University of Ghana Medical School, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Countless examples of other nations that have successfully implemented things like this, okay, to reclaim land. I listened carefully to you to hear a specific example from Ghana. That in Ghana, we have taken such a deliberate step to reclaim X acres of land in this town. And this is the situation. I never heard a thing like that. Don't you have any example here in Ghana?
Okay. Thank you.
I think I'll start with yours. That's the easiest one. Yeah, I think there's a case in Daboase I mentioned. Daboase area. I think the community initiative looked for degraded lands, and I know they planted about 10,000 seedlings for coconut. So this one initiative happening in Daboase. Is it in Western region, right? Okay, in Western region. So there are examples in Ghana, in this case, that I'm giving. And I think you know the Daboase story. So I gave such an example, apart from the Philippines and the Mozambique one, because Philippines were looking at more how you mobilize the youth for reclamation. Kenya was looking at policy in terms of how you integrate tree crop, coconut as one of the crops for environmental recovery. I mean, I mentioned that. And then Mozambique was also looking at coastline and the like. But Ghana one also looked at degraded lands at Daboase using coconut. So I think there's an example like that. Somebody mentioned, what are the authorities doing? I don't know which of the authorities. Okay, great. I agree.
Sorry, I'm moderating. You need to raise your hand
I agree.
to get the permission.
I think in my presentation I said we need a concerted effort and collaboration. It doesn't rest only on the police. Neither does it rest on maybe the Minister for Agriculture. I can't remember Koshiga, late Koshiga said something. He said, when you are a Minister of Agriculture, and even a rat takes somebody's bread, they will come and ask you.
I think Honorable also want to add something to it. Honorable Kwetu, you want to add something to it?
No, I think that, Doc, you forgot one of the questions were, how do you get access to the land in the first listen? But you see, when the government initiated this land reclamation program with the Ministry of Lands Commission, what was happening is that if you had any galamsey plot duly assigned to you, after mining, you have to reclaim the land by leveling everything. Okay? Then after some time, 3 years or so, organic matter will regenerate the soil before the crop is sent there. That is the idea. And that is what is in the community mining and the other mining concessions that they are giving. So every miner is supposed to first, after mining, digging the holes, you have to use your machines to level the ground. Then you have access to the land. Then what he talked about, organic matter regeneration will take place. Then you can plant the crops. When you do that, oil palm and coconut, perfect.
Thank you very much.
As I was saying, we need a concerted effort and a collaboration among all parties. That is why we feel the various value chain associations' governance structures need to be strengthened. Because if you strengthen their governance structures, in fact, they may be even aiding and supporting the police or the law enforcing agencies. So for me, I believe in building systems rather than going on the ATM approach. You know the ATM approach. That's been transactional. I mean, so for me, that's why TCDA, we want to focus more in these areas, because that is what will give us mileage, rather than just one fixed thing, we'll just throw in money here and there. I think I'll let him solve the salt one.
Yeah.
Salt.
Thank you very much. So once the person is a student, let me school him small. You know the pH scale? Yeah. So every plant does well within a particular pH level. When we are talking about oil palm, it does well in the relatively acidic conditions. So when you take oil palm, for instance, to the coastal areas in the Volta region where the salinity is very high, it will not do well. But thankfully, when you take the pH scale from 1 to 14, the coconut does well at 7. Very, very well. Very, very well. Neutral. Under neutral soil conditions, which is salty, the coconut does very well. So in the Volta region along the coast, when you plant your coconut, where the saline conditions are relatively higher, you have no problem. You will still come out with a very good yield. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And quickly to add up to the ATM and systems approach, we should understand it that systems always make things easier. Systems makes things quicker, and systems makes us achieve more. And if you don't understand it, I'll give you a typical example. If we have a tree, an apple tree, and we all have to climb it to pluck that tree, but none of us knows how to climb a tree, will it be easier? Will it be quicker? Will we achieve more? But on the other hand, if we put a system like a ladder by the apple tree, now will it be easier for us to climb? Will it be quicker? Can we achieve more? That is why we say systems makes it easier, systems makes it quicker, and systems makes us achieve more. So let us invest in systems. It may take time, but let us invest in it. Do we have one last contribution from Mr. Kobo?
I must say my imparting shot to the young folks. We are trying to work with the research institutions to establish coconut demo fields in some selected schools, because the saying is catch them young. You see? Yes. We have to catch you young, and once we catch you young and you see the economic benefits of tree crops, you'll not go back to the galamsey or fall back on our natural asset. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have somebody has a question. Another question. Who? Doc, are you satisfied with the answer?
He asked a question, what the authorities are doing about people going to clear their lands when their plants are there. TCDA's regulation captures that. Okay? In our regulation, we say that if anybody is going to cut down any tree crop for any reason, you must contact TCDA. If you don't do that, TCDA will come and fight for you. So if you have a plantation on any of our 6 crops and people cut it down, come to us, we'll fight your cause for you. This is it.
Okay. One
Okay.
last question.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Christian Sam. Please, my question is this. We are talking about galamsey and how we can use coconut to solve certain problem. My question is this one. Some galamseyers do not own land. So if, for instance, I am a galamsey guy, and then the land does not belong to me, I rented the land from somebody, and then I'm using it. So if we are reclaiming the land, we are giving coconut to be cultivated on it for the owners of the land. What then do you do with me? Because I will have no job. So what a plan do you have for me, for my survivor? Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still
First of all,
Okay.
let us approach this discussion from this perspective. Why are people doing galamsey?
Let's pay attention.
I think that's where I started my argument. It's because it's economic. You think people were doing slave trade because they didn't like your color? It was about money. When money is involved, people can go all in and do things. So for me, the issue is not about whether you are a galamsey, you don't have a land or not. But if income disparities were not that high, if the rich people are not getting richer and the poorer are getting poorer, people will not fall back on natural assets. So my discussion, the argument here is how can we create alternative economic opportunities for such people so that we can divert their attention to other lucrative areas in the economy. You may not go back in planting even coconut when we give you the land, but you may glean some business opportunity. That, okay, looking at this place, they are doing coconut. Maybe I'll be better off if I process. See? So we are using coconut as a stepping stone to create another economic opportunities for people in that galamsey. Not necessarily everybody to go and plant coconut. But you could find a business niche for you to pursue. You may also say that, yes, people are planting coconut. Can I set up agro-business where I can support them? Or people are doing coconut. They don't have mechanization services. Can I look at this business opportunity? So we are using one particular intervention to create more opportunities. A ripple effect. As you throw a stone on the surface of the water, you see the ripples. So this is what we are trying to say here. We are not saying that everybody stop galamsey, go and plant coconut. Thank you.
One last one, please. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And I mean it.
Okay. I'm Jonas Boadu. And my question is, okay, for now, we all want to, get the government involved and then for the land reclamation or whatsoever. The government alone cannot do anything. Why is it that we cannot put structures in place so that if the galamseyers degrade the land and they leave it like that, like the law will come back at them and then tell them to do something right?
Thank you. I think that was what Honorable Kwetu said, that the Tree Crops Development Authority is mandated. So if you find anything, please report it. Doc, would you want to?
No, I think it's fine. It's fine. But you must also know that a good consultant is good only when you give him a good watch to tell you the time. If we don't partner with you with these various, it will make TCDS work very difficult. We can't be at every corner trying to make sure, police, to make sure that people are not breaking the law. That is why we feel that working with value chain associations, building systems, building institutions, the institutions will own up. The most is the citizens themselves who stood up and will tell the authority, this guy is doing this thing here. We don't like it. So if the various stakeholders are not getting up or speaking up and waiting for government to come, by the time we get there, everybody will be dead. They say a stitch in time saves 9. Okay.
Indeed, a stitch in time saves 9. Let's give a round of applause to Dr. Foster Boateng, Deputy CEO of Tree Crops Development Authority, for the wonderful presentation, and also being supported by Dr. Isaac Danso, the Director of CSIR Oil Palm Research Institute. And that was a presentation on reclaiming lands through coconut cultivation, a solution to galamsey impact. Ladies and gentlemen, the next presentation is on mentoring the next generation, youth engagement in coconut agribusiness. I hear most people think agriculture is not sexy. Agriculture is not for people who want to enjoy life. Hear me out and hear me loud. He who feeds leads. What did I just say? He who feeds leads. If you're a Christian like my mother and you read the Bible, David became David not because of killing Goliath, but because of food. Because of what? Because he was a shepherd. And it was only because the brothers' milk and food were running out that they got him to get there. And the rest is history. Joseph became Joseph not because his brothers sold him, but it was because of food. The 7 years of bumper and 7 years of famine. Even Adam, it was apple and it was food. Esau lost his leadership because of what? Food. So he who feeds leads. If you want to lead, agriculture is the sexiest subject to study. And my senior colleague will tell you, you can be anything, a Greek economist, a Greek strategist, a Greek researcher, a Greek teacher, a Greek, name it, is in agriculture. And the focus of the next presentation is strategies to inspire and involve young people in the coconut industry, from farming to processing and business development. Agriculture is a business. The topic, mentoring the next generation, youth engagement in coconut business. We have none other better enough than one of our best experts in the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research when it comes to coconut business and mentoring the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Yaira. When you see him, he's such a simple gentleman, but he punches above his weight. Doc.
Thank you very much. So, the coconut world is here. Today, my appreciation to Miss Mavis Blagoji, she's here. Yeah, you had a very beautiful presentation. A lady who traveled from, that's Bogatanga to this place. She is Akubila Dauda. My presentation is going to be very interesting, very involving, and before you leave here, everybody will become a coconut farmer. Thank you very much. So, yeah. As you can see, the topic is mentoring the youth, engaging in coconut production. That's the youth, the next generation. Generation, as you know, is a period of 30 years. So if you are mentoring a youth, it's good to catch them young, as everybody has professed over here. Okay. Okay. The pointer is here. Good. Let me see. Okay. So right now there, you can see some beautiful girls in a picture. This is what has been happening in the Western region in the active support of the Western Regional Coordinating Council. It said coconut has a long lifetime, about 30 years. The new hybrid that we develop can produce a period of 40 years. So if you get a very young person who is into coconut, it becomes his or her livelihood for life. And there will be no pressure on any other illegal means of survival. Good. So these are students from the senior high school who are being mentored. So mentoring is just like coaching, providing a direction, motivating, and then leading a youth to success, and also providing resources for that person, one-on-one or in a group. And it's very, very important. If you see a lot of coaches, football coaches, they themselves, they cannot play the football on the field, but they're able to produce stars that are earning millions of Ghana cedis. That is what we seek to achieve in the coconut sector also. Probably I can farm, but in a few years' time, I may fade out of the system. But my children, they will come and carry on. So it's better I empower them to come. They say tradition goes on, to come and continue with the coconut livelihood empowerment. So now, as you can see, agric is now business, food business. There are several aspects of them, as you can see. Foods that we normally eat every day are a means of business that you can produce and make money. They say, he who what feeds you determines your destiny. So it's time now we take the leadership role, produce what we eat, and sell what we don't eat. Not that we import what we eat and then sell what we don't eat. So now, if you look at it, you can see maize, rice, vegetables. These are all forms of what? Food crops that we can engage in business. But my today's business is on coconut. Yes, a lot have been said about coconut. My student from the Hantaman girls, who helped me in one sentence tell us what coconut is. Is she ready? Please give her the microphone. Somebody is there to tell us something small about coconut, or she has experience. Give her the microphone.
If I could be a fruit, then I would be a coconut. Why coconut? Coconut has multiple uses. The shell can be turned into the husk can be turned into a rope. The shell can be turned into charcoal. The water is drinkable. The meat can be processed into cooking oil on top of being edible. I see myself as a versatile person with a lot of skills. Humorously, I'm just like this coconut here, brown on the outside and white in the inside. Thank you.
That is all. It means we have already mentoring. So these are they say what evidence. You can see that people are getting used to the business of coconut and know how it can be used for. So it has summarized all my point. So you can pick anything that she said over there and it becomes a business. So now, coconut, of course, the statistics shows that Ghana's production now is 504,000 metric tons, which is just equivalent to our total cocoa production for 2023. So you see, cocoa that we have been investing for over a century, coconut has overtaken. So this is very important. There's a newspaper item that Nigeria hungers for their neighbors' coconut. The total production of coconut in Ghana here does not even survive the Nigerian exports. In fact, Nigerians, they are even in Western region, moving from farm to farm, guaranteeing loans to the farmers just to produce coconut. There is a cargo village in every Nzima village. Even if you get one coconut, just come and put it inside the cargo, they will pay you until if it's full, every 45 minutes, one car leaves the Western region to Nigeria. This shows how important it is. We did not even travel far, just our neighbors here can buy all our coconuts. So it's a very serious business that we must take advantage of. Now, everybody will be interested to go into coconut. But as he said, coconut is a tree crop. It's not like maize. If you plant it, it's not good. You cut it and go and plant another one. Coconut is a tree crop. So you must get some knowledge before you plant it so that you don't make mistake. So the first one over there is sort of site selection. I know questions are going to be asked. To your notice, our director, Dr. Dansu, is an agronomist and a climate specialist. They model into crops, so most of the agronomic aspect, he will handle it effectively. So site selection. As the boy said, coconut thrive in so many areas. Even the disperser, it was on the sea. Almost 3 months on the salty sea. It landed on the beach. No nutrient, just loose soil. It's germinated and then spread along to the hinterland. So coconut is a versatile crop and also hot. Climate resilient. It can be grown almost every part except some few regions of the north. So let's take Intampo to Oti, across down to the south. Bono, Ashanti, Eastern, all those places, coconut can be cultivated over there. But what it doesn't like is rocky soils. When the subsoil is rocky, the root cannot penetrate, so it will die. So you must look for all those things. Sometimes we dig through to see whether there are rocks over there. Then secondly, they say what planting materials. As I said, if you plant coconut and then take very good care of it 4 years only to realize that it's just a flower, it's not bearing any fruit. It's a huge investment. So you must be very, very, very sure of where you are buying your things from. Those days in my village, even if you come and sell cassava by the village, and somebody goes and pound fufu and it's not good, they'll carry the cassava and the fufu to your house. Give me my money and take the fufu. This is what is happening here. So you must know where you take your materials over there. So the only mandate, a recognized institution in Ghana here is the Oil Palm Research Institute, and we have our director here sitting among us, which has oversight responsibility of also managing coconut. The coconut section is in the secondary, where the oil palm section is at KD or Kusi. So if you want any information, we are here, our contacts are available. You come and see us. Fortunately, the Tree Crop Development Authority has empowered us with a lot of resources, so we are going to go bigger. So as we go, we see where we can also tap and benefit from this special support initiative. Then the last one is best agronomic practices. Can you see something here? It's interesting. My director and I myself, we traveled to Afram Plains through Agogo, a very long distance. A blogger from America had just come to invest in coconut about 4 kilometers of radius of coconut farm. We couldn't even finish walking. Unfortunately, he couldn't get any information on coconut, so he just went to a forester who claimed he can do it. And then he went for the material himself. Nobody knew where those materials were bought from. The planting distance was haphazard. It was planted like a teak tree, so they are very close. If you plant coconuts too close, they'll compete for sunshade and they become tall. Our hybrids are always hot, intermediate, they are dwarfish, so that you can harvest it without any hot struggles. But if you plant it too close, they are going to compete for sunshade and then they will grow taller. So always, I insist on the recommended planting distance for coconut. If you want to go in, there are some things you should know. Planting distance for coconut, planting distance for maize, some things you know. You can't go and experiment it because coconut is a tree crop. Once you planted it wrongly, after 2 years, what are you going to do? You only cut it. There's nothing you can do. It's not like maize, okay, let me harvest and do it the next time. So here they are planting roofs. Who is coming to demonstrate? Winneba teachers, please come. Winneba, 3 girls should come quickly. We have started the mentoring from here. Yeah, quickly. Just give it out. Pass it out. You can't hold it. Come back. So these are the 2 ends. You see, have you seen the distance of coconut? Aren't you surprised that it's so wide like this? You see one end. It means that when the coconut is finally matured, it's going to develop a canopy. So the canopy should not overlap. So this is triangle.
Can we have a microphone for him, please? Where is the microphone? Please take part. You learn not only by watching, but mostly by doing.
Thank you. I'll come back to you. Okay. It's going to make a triangle. Have you seen how the triangle is? You stand there. Remain there.
Please form a triangle.
The 2 ends should meet. The 2 ends should meet. The 2 ends should meet.
It's okay.
So have you seen the space that 3 coconuts will occupy in this room? This is 8 meters by 8 meters by 8 meters. It is designed like this for a specific purpose, so that we plant according to the orientation of the sun, so that when a shadow is cast, the shadow will fall in the middle. This will also fall in the middle. This will also fall in the middle, so that
microphone.
Okay, so that it does not, the shadow does not fall on one plant, because coconut is sun-loving. We call it what? It has a long photoperiodism. Thank you. I think I'll be smarter with the microphone. Yes. Thank you. I'll be smarter with this. So if you look at it, so everybody has witnessed this here, 8 meters by 8 meters. That is the hybrids. But the traditional talk, which we don't encourage again, some can be 9 meters, but this is the recommended distance for the hybrids. Hybrids is also just like something that has been developed, or the hybrid is a combination of two distantly related species, they perform similarly. So hybrids mean that it's just like a poultry hybrid. If you don't feed it well, it's not like a fiekuko that will go and then look for its own food. If you go and buy poultry hybrid and then put it there, allow them to go and look for their own food, a lot will die, only few survive. The same thing to our hybrid coconut. You must adequately take good care of it. We shall also get over there. So thank you. I think you have all seen it and felt it. So if you want to go into coconut, somebody come there, he knows it, and you see what he's doing, and it's not good, don't keep quiet. Challenge the person. Or you know who to contact or where to turn to where you need support in coconut. It's very wise so that when the canopy develops, there must be space so that the canopy will not overlap. There must be air and sunshine passing through them. That is why it appears very, very, very hot. While like this, when we are making a rope and going to people for, say, is it not too long? You say, that is it. After some time, the smaller one is, the seedlings is just like this. But after 3 years, the canopy will spread. And then all these species will be covered. That is how it is. So, Winneba SHA, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, I continue. Now, is Millicent here? Millicent Kweku. Yeah, that's Millicent Kweku. We have developed a model for her. She's an SHS student. She completed Skani College. She read physics, mathematics, and general agriculture. She wants to go to KNUST if complete. She wants to be a coconut farmer. So we have developed a model for her. She's just 18 years, so she's going to plant the coconut 2025. So if she plants 1 hectare of coconut, this business, so let's pay attention. 1 hectare of coconut, every acre takes 65 plants. So a hectare, which is the size of a football field, or those who want to estimate, the long telephone pole, we call it the mains, 1 4 square, that is a hectare. A football-sized field with the oval, that's a hectare. So a football-sized field will take 165 coconut palms. So if Millicent plant in 2025, she'll harvest in 2029, just after 4 years. So let's move on. 1 hectare of coconut is 165 palms. It will fruit in 2029, planted in 2025. Now, averagely, coconut gives inflorescence, that is flowers every month. 1 flower develops into a bunch. That bunch, it carries from 10, 12, 15, up to 20 fruits. We call it what? Bunch, fruit bunch. That is what it carries. So we are giving an average figure. It is now 10. So you see that it will yield what? Every tree will yield 10 fruits. Every month, those who harvest, but it's not every month that coconut is going to fruit or flower. When there's so much dry period, they don't flower well. It may only be 5 or 4. But when it rains very well and the weather is good, you get from 10 to 20 or 18. That is the fruit bunch. So now, 10 fruit per palm times 165 is equal to 1,650 fruits just for 1 month. So she said that in 2029, today coconut, 1 is sold at the roadside. Let's say, Accra here, they say, 6 cedis. There are some places even 7 cedis. But the least price you get for coconut now is 4 cedis. So in 4 years to come, certainly coconut is going to be hot. 1 will be 10 cedis. So if it is 10 cedis, at the time Millicent finishes her KNUST, and then she can apply that she should be posted to her own business. So she will register her coconut farm as a business and ask to be posted back to her own business, and she has started. So if she sells in a month, so here we look at 10 cedis time, 1,750. She's going to get 16,500 every month, which is enough for a small girl. So we are grooming Millicent to achieve this dream. We are going to establish a coconut farm for her after university. She's not going to put any pressure on a parent or government that I want employment. She will just be harvesting until she started adding value to it, and she become a very, very, very successful entrepreneur. And one day we'll come back here and celebrate her. So Millicent, congratulations, and we shall support you. Now, today is a youth mentoring program. We have so many institutions which are spoken over here that mentors the youth or provide support services. Most of them are free. GPA like this have been distributing over 1 million coconut seedlings to farmers. Now, if you identify yourself or put yourself into a group, you go and register at your district assembly, and when the coconuts come, you can also get some, especially looking at Millicent model. So let's look at some of them. The first one is the Oil Palm Research Institute, whose the director is here with me. We are the aforementioned scientific organization to go into oil palm and then coconut. We have all the scientists around who have studied all over the country, sets of them. Others are breeders, agronomists, pathologists, entomologists, marketers, climate specialists, models. All of them are there. So we do run our training program, though it's not free, but you can apply if you are a youth that you want to attend, and if we can assist you. It's always held every 3 months at our head office at behind Golden Tulip. That's where our head office is. We do run programs so you can come and benefit on coconuts and then oil palm. Good. Tree Crop Development Authority, which has just been established and have been fully funded to promote seed tree crops. And coconut is on the agenda. Why coconut? Because, all the seed tree crops, let's mention them. We have cashew, we have rubber, we have mango, all those kind of things. You see, mango like this, they are shelf life. Somebody has mentioned it. Shelf life. Coconut, if you don't want it green, you can pick it dry. If it's rainy, you can say that, I don't have sunshine to dry my coconut, so there's going to be a loss. There's nothing like that. In the night, in the day, rainy or shiny, you can go and harvest your coconut. If you don't want it green, it does not involve further process, apart from taking good care of it during its development stages. Once you start fruiting, you're able to protect it from pests and diseases. That's all. How do we hear, apart from some few diseases that do strike sometimes, the Cape St. Paul disease, coconut is almost disease tolerant, especially the hybrids that we are developing today. Unlike cocoa, they have been hot trying to save the cocoa from the swollen shoe disease over 100 years now. Still, we still have the incidence of that disease. So coconut is one of the crops that you can rely. The Ghana Export Promotion Council, they've also been distributing coconut a lot. They are organizers of such programs that we all come and meet here, learn and share ideas, and then become entrepreneurs. Then the African Coconut Group, they are the conglomerate of the various coconut groups that come together. They also have their youth services. In fact, if you look at them, most of them are very young. They just completed university and decided to join the African Coconut Group. And they are doing very, very well. Our own, the chairman, Chairman Akabo, he was the best farmer at the age of 36, the youngest best farmer in the history of Ghana. And has hung on. Chairman, let's see your hand. He was the best farmer in which year? National best farmer in 2009. I remember vividly. President Kufuor visited him and congratulated him for his age. And he's still young, strong, young, and then moving with the fruit crops. Good. So the African Coconut Groups. Good. He's the chairman. Oh, sorry. Good. So why engage the youth in coconut? Yeah, as we have already enumerated, coconut is a tree of life. The economic value are now enormous. That is what we are trying to use to now shore cocoa. When Ghana Export Promotion Council modeled and realized that the production of cocoa is declining, they quickly came out with the idea that let's now look at economic diversification using coconut to shore up the cocoa. And by the distribution of numerous cocoa trees, Ghana shot from, by then it was Tanzania that was the lead producer of coconut in Africa. Through the support of the Ghana Export Promotion Council, Ghana has overtaken Tanzania. We are now the lead producer of coconut in Africa and 12th in the whole world. Yes. It's not easy to be a heavyweight fighter. If you're a heavyweight fighter, everybody is competing against you. So you don't sleep. You must continue training all the time. That is why we want to mentor the youth to go into more production so that we say we consolidate our lead and gain in the coconut. Nobody can overtake us. It has been acclaimed that our coconut is also by the factor organic. So it's highly sought after. It's highly sought after. So let us all plant the coconut. Let's all plant the coconut so that we make collectively, we make more money. The more we produce, the more we generate collective income to support ourselves and then the nation as well. So those are some of the importance of mentoring the youth. The youth by their age, let's say those SHS graduates 18, 19, 20, if they plant coconut now after 4 years, they will continue multiplying, they will only be expanding and also adding value to it. And before you realize, Ghana is now noted from cocoa now to coconut. And it's a very good initiative. Good. So building mentorship and training programs. So yeah, apart from the support institute, we have other NGOs who are also into coconut. So not only us, you can look around and then find that some of us are also at the exhibitor stand. So those are the importance of such festivals. So you go around. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Good. So now the main highlight of the day is the SHS Coconut Program. The Western Regional Coordinating Council realized that after the devastating Cape and Paul wheel disease, the production of coconut is falling. Volta region used to be the lead producer of coconut, but the disease situation affected them, and now Western region, Jomoro, Nzima area. So they say no, they will not be there for Eastern region to take over. Samens here, Samens, the Eastern region is fast catching up with the coconut production now because they have excellent geographical area for coconut. Especially, at the Achim area there is excellent for coconut. Right down from Adesu, and some Masamanke area there, excellent. Proximity to market and everything. So if you have a land over there, please just invest in the coconut fast. So the Western region realized that the Eastern region is trying to catch up. So they also intensify. So they said, catch them young. They started with the SHS. So some SHS have started their own initiative for income generating and also to stop this encroachment, especially when a school is in town. People hate to see land in town. They will encroach upon it. So these are some of the means you can safeguard the lands and also turn into livelihood empowerment programs like the sales of coconut. You can imagine, they say there's a festival in Takoradi. If everybody is told that if you come to that festival, you will drink coconut water free, that alone is a motivation for people to travel from Accra to Takoradi just because they know they are sure of their hot coconut drink. Good. So now, coconut, are we all going to farm the coconut? No, a lot have been said over here. There are so many hot chains within the value chain in coconut, which you can also target and do. If your friend is cultivating like 100 acres, must you also go by his side and say, okay, I'll buy from you. I'll also buy from you, or this, I'll support this. So let's look at them. Seedling production, which is the most important. Without seedling, we cannot get a coconut mature trees. So the seedling production, which the Tree Crop Development Authority has increased our capacity now to move around, to move away from the Western region, and now go and establish seed gardens within the various region so that everybody can visit those places and get their seed gardens. So private actors are going to be registered and trained to produce their own seedlings. So you can also take advantage. Second, coconut farming, which we have discussed a lot over here. Coconut aggregation. You can also say that there are some interior villages that it's very difficult to assemble coconut. You can also get Habobo or some means of transport and go and gather it small, put it at a point for the cars to come and assemble. It's also a business. The coconut vendor, as you have been seeing, those pulling it on the track, somebody can be innovative. You go to Gratis Foundation or any technical school, develop a small car for me that has a fridge component, some coconut is in, you also add it to it, you move it around, coconut van, you put something in it, you move around from university to university. I've never seen coconut being vended in university campuses. If you're going to sell coconut in university campus, you don't carry it like a truck like that over there. You have to be innovative. Probably you move a small cart, then some small fridge, then some pillar, then make everything interesting, then you move to the university campus. Then every student will buy. Whatever you send to that university campus, you finish that day. That's innovating. Coconut vending, not necessarily pulling it by the truck or carrying it on your head. Coconut processing, you can also process it. The process form of every food item attract more value. The cocoa, we have been selling it raw for ages. Then we go and we can't even afford the chocolate. So now we say we'll produce the chocolate ourselves and serve to the whole world. When you go to Japan, they write Ghana on their chocolate brand. Meanwhile, it's not manufactured in Ghana. And that alone is a brand for them. I want the Ghana one. The people are rushing. Meanwhile, we are producing the cocoa. So now, the export, yeah, of course. Chairman is here. They can tell you that, in fact, the export avenue, they say our coconut is the best because it's organic. It's organic. They say the coconut is the best because it's organic. So there's a lot of demand for our Ghanaian coconut. Nobody will produce coconut and come and lament that I've never seen a buyer. It has never happened so far, and it will never happen. Coconut is always hot cake in the Ghanaian market. Good. So this brings me to the end of my beautiful presentation. I hope at the end of the day, you have learned something. Thank you very much.
So you take your seat with your microphone. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and recognize Dr. Yaira from the CSIR Oil Palm Research Institute, mentoring the next generation, youth engagement in coconut agribusiness. It is now time for us to ask our questions, and then we will receive the response. I didn't say the answers. There are more questions than answers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 men, so the 5th one must be a lady. I disallow men. So the rest will be ladies. Remember, I'm a lady man, ladies man. Yeah, you're a man. You're It is only at the International Coconut Festival that men would want to be women to ask questions. So please, the first question, sir.
Hello, good afternoon once again. My name is Nick Beby from the GB Foundation.
A little bit louder, sir.
First of all, let me commend Dr. Yaya for the good work that he's doing. Youth mentorship is something that's very close to my heart. So for those of us who want to get involved with the kind of model that you're promoting, trying to find a nearby secondary school or institution to partner with to establish demonstration farms and field farms, who's the best contact person or the point of contact to get involved?
Okay, next question. We will take about 3, 4 questions. No. He's not. The one here. I am paying attention, you know.
Okay, thank you so much, Sylvester. Doc, thank you again for your beautiful presentation. You gave a case of Millicent, who is producing within at a 1 acre, right? 1 hectare. And is going 1 hectare, and she's going to be making like 16,000 Ghana cedis. Potential. On your subject line, you wrote profit, or if I stand to be corrected, you kept profit. So the question in my mind was, what happened to the cost? Are you saying there's no cost? That is 1. 2, on the element of value addition, you emphasize so much on the value addition. That is where, whenever there's value added to raw material, that's where we get the real bucks out of it. So now the question I want to ask, in Ghana here, what value are we currently adding to our coconut nuts? Because in the same presentation, you indicated that most of these coconut nuts are being exported out into Nigeria. So I want those 2 situations to be reconciled. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next question. But before he even answers it, when you go to the exhibition center, you will see a lot of value addition products there. But before he answers, yeah. The third question. No, then the 4th question was somewhere here. Where was it, the gentleman? Yes, here. No, here, please. Please, let's pay attention.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Please, my name is Ben from Volta region, Howe. You talk about the planting. I've already started with the coconut planting, and I think I have about 150 trees on the field that I'm here to add more. But the distance that you give and the style you give, which is triangle, I don't know either planting, we should make it per the agri officer that I bought my seedling from. He gave me 25 feet. And in that way, when I finish planting, I can see square. Fine. And about the plant too, I would like you to also mentor me in how to go about it. Right now, I'm having challenge with the pest attaching the distance.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's take the lady student on my right. Yeah, there's a lady student here and another lady student there. I'm taking the ladies. 2 more ladies. And then after the first round, we'll come back for the next round. Then I'll take the men as well. Next round. We'll be finishing in about 15 minutes' time, per the program, 4 o'clock. Yeah. I hope you all had your lunch. Yeah, so dinner is around 6, so when you get home, you can have your dinner. Yes, ask your questions.
Please.
Where is the microphone?
Please, Nana.
Hang on. How come it traveled from here to there? Please give it to her first. I am the moderator. And afterwards, she will. You know why I do this? Leadership is made up of 3 things: the leader, the follower, and the context. When you have a bad leader, good followers, good context, the leadership is bad. When you have a bad follower, good leader, good context, the leadership is bad. But when you have a good leader who drives the system, and good followers, and good context, then we have leadership. So we'll come back to you, but let's follow the due process.
Please, my question is, judging by the Millicent model you presented, the triangle method will have some space of land in between the 3 plants, and it will take her 4 years for her to harvest. Is there any way we can harvest another crop which can dwell very well in the space there so that she can be cultivating it along the line till the 4 years is due?
Thank you very much. Now we come to the lady on my left. And then, Dr. Yaira, you take the questions.
Please,
Thank you very much.
Please, I'm Nana Fosun from Daboasi. Please, I want to know the required nutrients or fertilizers that we can supply to coconut after planting it.
Thank you very much. Now, Dr. Yaira, the ball is in your court.
Thank you very much. Is Dr. Antonio here? Dr. Antonio, Elizabeth. Director, please come and join me again.
Okay, let's clap for Director.
Yeah. The first question, what I heard is that you would like to say, the first question is what I heard, you want to partner this very initiative. Please, your organization. Oh, fine. From here, I'll take your particulars. I'll be very happy to work with you. Understanding? Please, Elizabeth, there's a first question. Come and sit here with us. Madam Elizabeth, our entomologist from the Crop Research Institute, you to come and sit here with us. So, from my presentation and model, we've received support. That's the importance of this festival. So we thank you from here. I'll take your initiative. Like Minister model, we skipped the profit and loss aspect, but we all know that a lot of support. A Millicent coconut is going to be supply free. Clearance and everything, the farm will be maintained for her. But everybody will not get it like that. So if you want to go into it, lease of land or acquiring land, buying planting materials, all those kind of things, initially, it will be very expensive, but at the long run, you just, first harvest alone can clear all those debts. You understand? So value addition. Doc, will you speak on value addition?
Okay, so concerning the nutrients needed by the plant, right? We don't need to apply fertilizers indiscriminately. Once the child is not hungry, there's no need to give the child food. So scientists, we are more comfortable to make sure that the soil is analyzed to know whether there's no nutrients. Apart from the soil, we even obtain the leaf of the plant. Then after the analysis, we will know whether it falls below what we call critical values. Once the soil is deficient, when the leaves are deficient, then it will call for fertilizer application. The coconut plant is noted for major nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and also magnesium. And these are applied depending on the age of the plant. So from 0 to 3, there's a recommended amount of fertilizer. From 3 to 7, recommended amount. Then from 7 till it becomes physiologically mature to the extent that it attains the economic, lifespan. So there are different ranges that we give to the plant. But make sure the soil is hungry before you apply the fertilizer. Otherwise, there will be soil toxicity. The soil will become toxic or will become acidic. So coconut farmers here, don't just apply fertilizer indiscriminately. Very, very important. The question about spacing, have you spoken about it? Okay. So, Council for Scientific Industrial Research, we have a lot to do. We have a lot. As we travel around, we see a lot of farms pegged in the rectangular manner or in the square manner. And once it is done that way, within the shortest possible time, you realize that the coconut trees, instead of becoming dwarf, they tend to be very tall because they will all be competing for source of light. So it's always very important to peg in a triangular manner, depending on the variety, so that when it casts its shade, it will not overlap with each other. So we are still training the MOFA staffs. It's rather unfortunate you mentioned that it was an extension officer. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He doesn't know. So we will keep on doing our best. And I thank God the TCDA is ready to resource us so that we will train more people. But the farmers, you yourselves, the people who know, try and get yourselves into groups. Try and get yourselves into groups. I know chairman is there. Once we are invited, we will try to transfer some of the knowledge that we have so that together we will move coconut to a level that we all want it to be. The issue about pest infestation. The gentleman has a farm and is having pest troubles. Lisbeth.
Okay. When it comes to pest infestation, we have several pests. We have termites, and then we have the almighty, I call it almighty rhinoceros, the Oritis beetle. If you have a plantation or a farm which is between 2, 3, 4, up to 6 years, you will encounter them a lot. When they come, they attack the growing point of the palm, and then they bore a hole, and then they go inside, and then they feed. Now, these insects are nocturnal. When I said nocturnal, they are active at night. You will never see them flying into your farm during the day. They come when you are sleeping, and then they will go into the hole. If you are lucky when you come in the morning, you will still find them inside the hole. Sometimes, too, you will not find them, but you see like a sawdust which is wet, and then it's like they have come there, and then they have feed, and they've gone. They don't live there. They don't lay eggs there. They don't develop there. They only come to your coconut to feed. Now, this is where the source of infestation comes. That means where they come from. They come where you have rotten logs or decomposing logs around your farm or even outside your farm. That's where they lay their eggs up to the different stages. When they become adults, they don't feed on the decomposing logs. They fly to your coconut, and then they feed. And then they come back for oviposition, that means laying eggs. And then they come back for breeding, that means for them to meet and lay eggs. So the problem with managing these orators is because, one, they are hard. If you look at their back, they are very hard. And then they are not small. They are at least sizable. They are big. And they're now inside. And they don't come during the day. So how will you control them? The current methods that we are propagating is the integrated pest management, where you use the old fishing net to tie it, or you use the hook or the sharp end stick, and then you try it. One of the research I am doing is the integrated pest management in controlling these orators. I had samples of pheromones brought for me from outside, and I have identified some farms. I have placed them within the farms, and they are giving me catches. And initially, the manufacturer was like, oh, sorry, pheromones are lure, or will I say they are chemicals, not like, they are chemicals from the insect that you place the insect that will attract the insect. So what makes the male and the female come together is there is something that they smell from the male or from the female. So when you put that, then the insect will say that, oh, there is a male here. And then when it comes, then it gets trapped. Then it can't fly back again. So when you extract that from the insect, that is what we call the pheromones. So we have some in different locations. It's giving us catches. And we realized that the manufacturer said after 3 months, you change it. But it gives us more catches after 2 months, and then we are working. And we also had samples of metarhizium. Metarhizium is a biopesticide. This is also what I'm also working on to see how effective it will be in controlling the immature stages of the insects. So that is what we do. So in your case for the insect, I will encourage you to use the old fishing net and then the hook as well. Please and please try as much as possible to avoid chemicals because it won't really be effective.
Thank you very much.
All that he said is to set a trap. You set a trap for the cocoons using pheromones so that they will enter the trap and they cannot go back again. That is all. And the net also, their legs have hook. So if you put the net around the young palm seedling and they are coming to feed in the night or move out in the night, they will get trapped. They will get inside the net and then they will be entangled and they can die in it. So those are some of the means. Say don't use chemical because Ghana, we are producing organic coconut, so don't try chemical. That's all. Thank you. About the intercrop, he said the planting distance for coconut is too wide. As we stretch the net over here for everybody to see, yes, you cannot be weeding inside coconut farm till 4 years when it begin to hold fruit. So from the initial stages, we encourage intercropping. You can plant maize followed by beans, cowpea, vegetables as a stopgap crops. While you are using labor to be weeding the farm, you can also be farming those maize. You can sell those things also and make more money. So you don't just allow the land to be like that till 4 years. But after 3 years, the canopy will develop so that you cannot plant anything under them again. But for the first 3 years, you can be planting some vegetables or legumes under them so that those also becomes another source of income for you. You don't leave it bare like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll let Chairman Kobo also add a few words.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Let me thank my panelists. I think you will never get this anywhere unless Coconut Festival, because I think that the education is massive and we need to take it very serious. Just a quick one. I serve on the Tree Crop Development Authority Board. And for your information, and again, I'm the chairman of the African Coconut Group. We've been distributing free seedlings. But then you can't get it if you are not a member of the federation. We are saying this because we can't just throw the seedlings away. You need to be a member of the various associations so that we can control, because once they give you the seedling, they'll need to monitor. And again, I'm the president for the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. Our job is to stimulate export through trade shows and others. So we've been attending fairs all over the world for the past years. When we go, the whole idea is for tree crops, GEPA to be able to make sure that we plant, we get the CSIRs and the rest will help us, we maintain. Then we get people to offtake. Because if you go, last year, Through Logistics, Donlimo is looking for 60 containers a week. And we said we can't. He said 60 containers a month. I've not even shipped 10 containers to him. So that tells you the demand. That's the more reason why we say we at FAGE knows, we deal with the exit, so we know what the market demands. And that's the more reason why we work hand in hand with CSIR. So we encourage all of you that we are doing 3 days here. I expect all of us to join the associations, and we'll get you free seedling. Tree Crops alone is going to do over 5 million seedlings. And 5 million seedlings, if you divide by 65, that tells you the hectares they are going to plant. This year, up to next June, GEPA will do 300,000 seedlings. They've already done almost 100,000 just 2 months ago. So that tells you the sort of effort the institutions are putting in. And we, like we said, we are working hand in hand with the research institutions because we didn't want the nursery operators to bring anything anywhere. If the nurseries, and that was part of that decision making, if the nurseries are not satisfied by CSIR, nobody is going to buy their seedlings. So please, let's take note of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman David Kobo, the chairman of the African Coconut Group. And the president also, for the Coconut Federation, will add a word. Mr. Patrick Ndabia.
I should thank the panelists, but I have few comments to make. Yes, I saw that you have straight a triangular rope here. I think we have a particular calculation to determine the triangle. You cannot just hold a rope and say triangle. I think we should be taught how to do the calculation concerning the triangle. That is one. Number two, we are trying to make maximum use of the lands. And therefore, we are encouraging what we call intercropping. Apart from cassava planting, that is full crop a year round. But we need to have permanent second income policy to that of the coconut. So we are trying to increase the distances so that within the 3, the 4, we can plant just what you call cocoa or whatever plant, so that we have intercropping, permanent cash crop, so that we make maximum use of the land. How elaborate that will be. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that is a typical agroforestry. But let me add that the question that the lady asked, we don't have to do
Please let's pay attention.
the intercropping haphazardly. It has to be done in a spatial arrangement manner. So in the first year of intercropping, you leave about 1 meter from the coconut rows. So you have the coconut line here. We leave 1 meter from the row, you plant your maize. You leave 1 meter from here, you plant your maize. In the second year, the canopy will be chasing you. So you move away from it, 1.5. So you continue to plant and plant, then you'll be left with only 1 row in the third year. Beyond that year, you realize that it's not even economically good to intercrop any longer, then you stop. Then the issue about the agroforestry. How can we integrate 2 permanent crops? The secret is this. You first of all grow your coconut by coming out with a recommended distance, which is a bit wider than when you are doing a sole coconut planting. Then after 4 years, when the canopy has closed, you will undercrop it with cocoa. Knowing very well that the cocoa is a shade-loving crop. So that once you do it that way, you have all the 100% plant stand of the cocoa, whilst you are having your coconut as well. So instead of using the 24 feet or the 25, depending on the variety, we use about 33, up to about 33 feet triangular. Then you will intercrop it with the cocoa after 4 years. Then you are right to go. This is a technology which we are yet to transfer to the farmers. Okay.
Yes, a follow-up question to what Mr. Ndabia said, so that you can educate the public well. So, in mangoes, I have one of the biggest mango plantations, so I'm one of the biggest exporters. So, in mangoes, and I know tree crops, you can't just, so mangoes, for instance, you can intercrop with cowpea for the first 2 years. But if you do the third year, vegetatively, the trees will grow haywire, but it won't flower. So it means that we do first, second year, then maybe you do maize, which will give you some, how the calcium, then you plow back against calcium deficiency and other things. What do you recommend for coconut? I think, for me, I don't know what you recommend for coconut. Is it the case where you can plant cowpea all over to introduce more nitrogen into the soil? Or is it a case where you have to do crop rotation, where you plant this today, tomorrow, you do this? I'll be grateful if you can educate the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, we need to be very careful because of the incidence of the Cape St. Paul wool disease. Some of the legume crops have been found to be alternate host to that phytoplasma. So we are very careful when it comes to the choice of a leguminous crop to be undercropped in the coconut. Where you happen to have a coconut seedling that is not tolerant to the Cape St. Paul world, then perhaps we are inviting trouble for yourself. So that crop selection is very, very important when it comes to the intercropping in coconut farming. Thank you very much.
It is getting interesting, exciting, and rewarding. I should say it is time, but we will take the last 30 seconds.
Mr. Moderator, the president keeps on hammering me with the triangle, right? Is it a triangle? Okay, that could be demonstrated much better.
Hello.
Okay, so yeah, you need to have a north-south baseline. Maybe that could be done better. Here we are in a room. That could be done better when you're on the phone. I understand you perfectly. I will see you one-on-one.
So
Thank you very much.
Please, 30 seconds, and strictly 30 seconds.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Let's pay attention, please.
Dr. Ira, I'm Felix Odro from Okuapeman School. Regarding the model we just displayed, actually, I'm the coordinator for the Cosmos Innovation Center in our school. Our students are very poised and they are interested and they want to go into that. How do we get on board? How do we get students registered onto that platform? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The student there, and I come to the gentleman here, and we'll bring it to a close. It is already time. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, we also are here. And the next day, we are here for 3 days. So don't worry. Quickly, 30 seconds.
I'm Emilia from Okuapeman Senior High School. Apart from pet disease, what other challenges will I face when I'm in the cocoa business?
Coconut business.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And then the gentleman to my left, please. Let him ask his question. Yeah, the microphone is coming. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Boa Fakon from Farms. Please, my problem is, how do you assess the soil before you add the fertilizer?
Okay.
I understand it needs to be analyzed. How do we go about it?
Okay. Thank you very much. I leave it to the experts.
So you start from the bottom. How do we assess the soil? How do we analyze the soil? We have already determined the right critical values for each of the plants. So coconut, we've been able to establish critical values within which the soil will not be able to sustain the growth of coconut. So when you analyze the soil, knowing very well that it needs NPK, MG, if the N, nitrogen within the soil, falls below certain values, then it preempts that there's a need for us to give a required amount of nitrogen to the soil. If it falls above, then we need to hold on till the following year you will analyze and see whether it falls below before you can apply. In the same way, the phosphorus and the potassium and also the magnesium, you take samples, maybe you take samples of soil, then you take it to the lab. So we analyze it in the lab. In other sectors, what they do is they bring everything from the lab to the farm and they put a kit inside the soil. Then right there, the values are determined, then you are ready to go. So we call them soil testing kits. They are in a bag like a portfolio. And these are normally practiced in the European countries and also in America. In Ghana, in our office, we have it. But I wish the government bridge a gap in that direction so that every farmers group or every office, Ministry of Food and Agriculture will have one. So once the extension officers visit your fold, they will be able to test your soil in situ. Right in your fold, the values are provided and you are ready to go.
Yes, CSIR.
Yes. So in this case, you need to contact us. Within the day, we will be able to do it for you. Then we provide you with the values, but at a very small fee. Thank you.
Apart from pests and diseases, what are other challenges of coconut?
What are the other challenges?
Okay, so I think and one of the questions I have in my questionnaire going around doing is you have the disease, you have the insect pest, you have high cost of seedlings, you have unavailability of seedlings, poor transportation. So those are all challenges of coconut production. We will not say market because most of the farmers I interact with, the buyers come to their farm to buy either it is a dry nut or if it is a fresh nut. So you won't have them. Maybe soil fertility also, and then unavailability of land. It depends on where you are coming from. So those are a few challenges. And we thank Coconut and African Coconut Group who are also willing to supply the seedlings. So that might cut down the unavailability of seedlings and then high cost of planting. And then we also have the labor in terms of weeding. That will also be another challenge probably.
Let me also add that in recent time there's a problem of climate change, where we have extremes of weather conditions. You will end up getting more male inflorescence. We don't need a lot of the males in the system. We need a lot of females.
You see why
So
I
that-
support the females?
So because of climate change, we are getting more males because they have a competitive advantage under harsh weather conditions. So always we need to create a very conducive environment for the females to come up because they are not strong. Thank you very much.
Another major challenge of the coconut business is buying your seedling from uncertified sources, like people who put it in their car, travel from village to village, you just go and buy. Another year, you don't see them again. That is one of the major challenges of the coconut, source of planting materials. So be very careful. Unlike those days, those who buy poultry, they will come and say, these are females. They will buy them that they'll be laying egg. After some few minutes, you see that they are all males. That's what happened in coconut. They will say, oh, these are hybrids. Before you realize, it is the traditionally tall one. You are going to what? Manage it for 7 to 8 years before it will start fruiting. So those are some of the challenges. So we are here. Get our contact and come to us. Copy, ma'am. You say Millicent model. Dr. Botin Foster is gone. They are the advocates of the Millicent model. So please, unless he comes and then he talks to that effect. But I'm always available. You have my contact. We shall be talking. But before we leave here, somebody asked about the value addition. There's going to be presentation on value addition tomorrow. That's why we were silent about the value addition of coconut, because somebody will also be saying something on that. But one of the most important value addition of coconut is the virgin coconut oil. Virgin coconut oil is a premium quality from coconut oil, which Ghana is now a lead producer. It is even more expensive than olive oil. It can be used to do so many, many things. Tomorrow, if you come, you hear more about the virgin coconut oil. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. On that note, we say a very big thank you to the CSIR Oil Palm Research Institute, and in particular to the presenter, Dr. Yaira, and the director of CSIR OPRI, Dr. Isaac Danso, and also the entomologist specialist, Mrs. Elizabeth Tete. Let's give them a round of applause for such a wonderful presentation today at the 4th International Coconut Festival here in Accra at the Accra International Conference Center. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who are joining us online via the Ghana Export Promotion Authority YouTube channel, this is the 4th International Coconut Festival happening live in Accra, Ghana at the Accra International Conference Center with the theme Empowering Lives Through Coconut, Innovation, Employment, and Sustainable Livelihood. Day 1 is over. We have day 2 tomorrow, 22nd, and day 3 to look up to. Tomorrow, we will start exactly at 9:30. We will have GEPA coming to speak to us on global market trends and export opportunities for coconut products. If you would like to know where in the value chain to play at so that you can get coconut products abroad and make some income, please be here on time or be online also on time at 9:30. It will be followed by another presentation by the CSIR Technology Development and Transfer Center, TDTC, on value addition and processing, unlocking economic potential in coconut products. That will be tomorrow, the next presentation after the GEPA presentation. And finally, from 2:30 to 4:30, we will have Solidaridad Exim ACG, Prudential Bank, all speaking to the coconut agroforestry, a model for sustainable land reclamation and livelihood. That will be day 2 tomorrow. Day 3, that is on the 23rd of October 2024, we are going to have the Crop Services Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture speaking to climate resilience and sustainable practices in coconut farming. That will also start at 9:30. At 10:30, we will have FAGE also speaking alongside the TCDA and the COSE Consultancy Services. And we will end the 3rd day with socialization of the Tree Crops Regulation 2023. And that will have ensuring that stakeholders are fully informed and compliant with the regulations governing the coconut sector and foster collaboration for sustainable growth in the industry. So tomorrow we start at 9:30. I am Ibrahim Kwame Asante. I have been your humble servant and host, and I will be, by God's grace, your servant for these 3 days. We hope you've enjoyed today as the day 1 of the 4th International Coconut Festival here in Accra, Ghana. Please be on time tomorrow and the next day. Share the links to your friends so that they can also enjoy such wonderful information. Thank you so much for coming, and God bless you. Please visit the exhibition. There are a lot of coconut products there. You can drink coconut. Visit the exhibition stands. A lot of coconut products, from coconut biscuits, coconut drink itself, coconut milk, coconut, a variety of coconut products. So please, if you want coconut to eat or drink or coconut products, go to the exhibition stands and patronize them as well. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow morning. We start at 9:30. A gentleman left his mobile phone in the Uber car. So if you've left your mobile phone in the Uber car, the mobile phone is here. The gentleman is the one who is lost. Please come. We understand he has beard and he was wearing a white shirt. Thank you. So Eastern Region Value Chain. If you are here, the person in charge of Eastern Region Value Chain, please see the gentleman in glasses from GB Foods, GB Farms. If you are here,